I caught her friends plotting a fake breakup to test me. It sounds ridiculous, even absurd, but that's exactly what happened, and it shook me in ways I couldn't have imagined. I had always thought I knew the people closest to her, believed in the bonds of friendship and honesty, but that night shattered every assumption. It began innocently. Her friends, whom I had known for years, had always been warm, welcoming, and seemingly genuine. We'd shared dinners, holidays, and countless casual conversations about life, love, and everything in between. But over time, I noticed subtle shifts in behavior, furtive glances, hushed whispers when I entered a room, and a strange hesitancy in the way they addressed me. I brushed it off as paranoia at first. Surely, after years of knowing these people, they wouldn't betray the trust of someone they cared about, right? Then came the night that changed everything. I was at her apartment, waiting for her to finish getting ready for a friend's gathering, when my phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. Check the living room. You're about to find out the truth. Confused and wary, I followed the instructions. Peeking around the corner, I saw her friends, 3 of them, huddled together, whispering, faces lit by the glow of a laptop screen. And then I realized what I was witnessing. A plan, carefully orchestrated, to create a fake breakup scenario designed to test my loyalty and reactions. My blood ran cold. They were discussing how to stage an argument, how to fabricate a text message from her claiming she was leaving me, and how to record my reaction to determine whether I was worthy of her love. Every detail had been mapped out with alarming precision, from the timing of the fake text to the placement of hidden cameras in the apartment. I couldn't believe it. These were the people I had trusted, people I considered family, and they were plotting to manipulate me for their own idea of entertainment. I didn't confront them immediately. Instead, I stepped back, observing their scheme in silence. They laughed softly, excited about how I would respond, completely unaware that I was aware of every move, every word, every malicious intention. It was surreal, watching them treat human emotion as a game, treating my life, my relationship, and my trust as nothing more than a social experiment. The betrayal cut deeper than any argument or fight could have. When she arrived, unaware of the discovery, the scene was almost comical. Her friends scrambling to hide evidence, adjusting their expressions as if nothing were amiss. I greeted her warmly, careful to mask the storm raging inside me. As she moved through the apartment, I saw her friends subtly try to gauge my reaction, expecting anger, confusion, or panic. But I stayed calm, composed, and silent. They weren't getting the reaction they wanted, not tonight. Later, when everyone had left, I finally confronted her privately. I asked questions deliberately measured, letting her deny, excuse, or explain. She froze, eyes wide, caught off guard by my knowledge. She had been included in the plan, but perhaps underestimated my awareness. It was just a joke, she stammered. They wanted to see how much you cared. I shook my head, the mix of disbelief and fury boiling inside me. A joke? My trust? My emotions? That's your idea of a joke. I realized in that moment that forgiveness would not be immediate, nor easy. Trust, once fractured, requires time and sincerity to repair. But these weren't minor infractions. This was manipulation at its core. I told her I needed space, that I needed to process not only her involvement, but the shocking betrayal by people I had considered my extended family. She pleaded, promised, begged, but I remained firm. Boundaries, I realized, were no longer negotiable. Over the next few days, I meticulously documented everything. Screenshots, messages, even timestamps of their secret plotting. I wasn't planning revenge, not in the traditional sense. I wanted clarity, evidence, and control over my own narrative. When I eventually confronted her friends, I didn't yell, threaten, or storm out. I simply presented what I knew, watched their reactions, and let the weight of truth settle over them. Faces drained of color, laughter gone, as they realized their game had failed spectacularly. They had miscalculated, assuming my trust was so naive that I would fall for a stage drama. And yet here I was, calm, composed, and fully aware. The aftermath was tense but enlightening. She apologized, her sincerity questionable but visible, and her friends avoided me like the plague. I made it clear that trust could not be rebuilt overnight, that manipulations, even tests, had consequences, and that my boundaries were now absolute. I reclaimed my sense of security, my control over emotions, and my right to demand respect. In the end, I learned a crucial lesson. Appearances are deceiving, and those we consider allies may sometimes act in ways that betray our deepest expectations. But I also discovered strength, patience, and clarity. I had been tested, literally, and had passed, not because of luck but because I remained aware, composed, and grounded. The people who thought they could manipulate me had underestimated me. And that miscalculation preserved not only my dignity but my self-respect. I caught her friends plotting a fake breakup to test me, and while the betrayal stung, the experience left me stronger. Trust must be earned, respect must be mutual, and games, no matter how cleverly disguised, cannot undermine someone who remains vigilant, thoughtful, and steadfast. And as I rebuilt my sense of reality, I knew that I would never allow anyone, not even those closest to me, to manipulate my life or emotions again.